Hey guys, Andrew McFarlane here. Hope you're feeling amazing. Today we are talking about why mediocrity is the silent killer when it comes to launching a business. And in specific, this sort of business model when you have juices, smoothies, all the products that you guys know we're familiar with and talk about. If you guys are new to the channel and you don't know who I am, you don't know what we do, for the last 10 years, myself and my agency have been helping hundreds of entrepreneurs all over the world launch and scale successful juice bar businesses. I myself have run my own juice bar businesses, and so all the information we're providing is coming from tangible experience, none of it's speculation, and really our mission is to create a world where there are more healthy juice bars and plant-based cafes and there are unhealthy fast food restaurants, and so together we can make this world a reality. Now, talking about, and this is a powerful one, I really want you guys to get this, why mediocrity is the silent killer when it comes to a business. The reality is when you have, let's say, a customer walks into your business and you give them your product, you think your product is amazing, but the product for them is just kind of, maybe a 5 out of 10. They didn't hate it, so they're not going to go online and write a negative Yelp review, but they didn't love it, right? So what happens? That customer just doesn't come back to your store. And so for you as a business owner, the reason this is the silent killer is because you don't get feedback. At least in the event that your product was terrible, maybe the customer will tell you and they'll try to return it. And if you have enough customers do that, you'll have something awaken in you to realize, hey, we need to change that recipe or we need to do something differently. But if you don't get feedback, you may be under the misconception that your product is amazing and it's great, but you're not having return clientele, and you might blame it on something else. You might say, oh, our location isn't good, or nobody can see us, or the weather is bad, right? Because you're not getting feedback. And so this is why I call it the silent killer, is because it kills your business slowly without you realizing what the problem is. And this also goes for other aspects of your business when it comes to your customer service, when it comes to your product, like I mentioned before. And the other element that I want to really emphasize is your branding. I'll break it down if you guys don't know what branding is. Some people think they actually even know what branding is, but they don't know what it is. And so I'll just kind of clarify that in this moment. The way I define branding is the accumulation of impressions that your business leaves in the minds and hearts of your customer, right? Your branding isn't simply your logo or your visual presentation. That's a part of it, but it's also the customer experience, your brand narrative, your brand voice, right? Everything that comes together that makes your business a living thing, that is part of your brand. That is the impression that your company leaves. And so the reason that mediocre branding is also the silent killer is because if your business doesn't stand out in its presentation, in its experience, then people just don't visit your store. And these things can oftentimes be somewhat subjective, and because they're creative, it's hard to put your finger on. Some people might love someone's branding, some people might not like someone's branding, but usually that's not the case. From my observation, what I see most often when it comes to juice businesses and new startups is that entrepreneurs aren't investing enough time and energy. So they don't have a well thought out brand, and so it's just average. It doesn't get people to a place where they're compelled enough to talk about it to their friends and other people. And so therefore you lose the word of mouth marketing value, because the brand, and I'll emphasize in this moment really why this is oftentimes the case, is because branding is not seen as an essential component to your startup. Right? You know that in order to run a juice bar business, you have to have equipment. There's no getting around that. You know that you have to have recipes, you have to have a menu, you have to have vendors, you have to have a production facility. So these are all things that are intrinsic. You cannot start your business without these things, but the brand is looked at as being, well, we'll get around to it, not as important, it's not intrinsic. But it actually becomes the most in a lot of ways, valuable thing long-term because of its sort of conceptual and perceptual value, right? And I'll just break down in this moment the difference between intrinsic value and perceptual value. Intrinsic value, we can say, might be a t-shirt that you purchase at Walmart. Perceptual value is a t-shirt you purchase at the Prada store, right? At the Prada store, they can charge hundreds of dollars for whatever their products are, and at Walmart, you're not going to pay that for a product. Now, the intrinsic value between both of these things are very similar. They may be a little bit more high-quality fabrics at Prada, but they're not so despairingly different that it would justify hundreds of dollars. So what are you paying for when you purchase a luxury brand? And fashion is a great example of this. You're purchasing the perceptual value, or we can also call it brand value. And so if you don't build a strong and compelling brand in your business, you don't compel people and inspire them to engage with your product in the same way that they would in other scenarios. The last thing that I'll say about this is that a lot of us, when it comes to choosing restaurants to eat at, or juice bars to walk into, if you can put yourself in the position of the consumer, we've all had moments where we've thought, hey, let's get this kind of food, okay, great, and there's a few options in the area. How do we generally make decisions? Because we don't have a lot of information, so we might look at reviews. But the next most impactful, important thing we look at is how does that brand present themselves, right? Is the concept unique? Is their imagery and their design professional? And you would think that it would go without saying that people understand the value of and the importance of presenting themselves well because of what that does to the potential consumer. But most people overlook this, and I want to, in this moment, emphasize that if you do this in a way that's mediocre, subpar, and not amazing, you're losing money and you don't even realize it, and you won't realize it because it doesn't leave clues. This is why, like I said before, mediocrity is the silent killer. No one's going to go out of their way and tell you that your brand is mediocre. No one's going to go out of their way and tell you that they don't like your brand, right? No one's going to go out of their way and tell you, hey, your product was a 5 out of 10. These things just kill your business and you won't know why. And the reason I had to bring this topic up is because obviously you guys know we consult for a lot of people, and we've got clients who might come to us after they've been in business for 6 months, a year. Things aren't going well for them. They come out and they say, hey, can you guys help us? And we say, yeah, let's help you. And we'll break down their situation. And a lot of times the things that they think are their problems aren't their problems. But the only things that they can point to are the things that feel tangible, right? Like, oh, we need new menu products. And that might also be the case. But they don't see the other more creative and things that might be a little bit more abstract that are having a huge impact on their business. And so really, if I could leave you with anything in this conversation, is make sure your product is excellent. Get feedback, objective feedback. Don't just give your product to your friends and your family. Give it to people who don't know you. Get their feedback. People who don't have to placate to you, right? When it comes to your branding, invest money, time. Our agency, we actually have designers. We go through a full branding process with our clients. And so if that's something you want support with and you want to reach out to us, we'd be more than happy to discuss this with you. You can reach me personally at Andrew@StartAJuiceBar.com. We can have that conversation. But put the time, effort, and finances into these elements because they will pay themselves back tenfold if you execute on them well. Otherwise, when you launch, they might be silently killing your business because it was mediocre and you didn't know why. And so I hope this gives you guys some insight. If you like the video, press the like button. If you have any questions or comments or just want to tell us that you like the content, you can put it in the comment box below. If you're not subscribed, you definitely want to subscribe. There's also a notification bell next to the subscribe button so you get notified anytime we put out new content. Follow us on Instagram. And then also for more passive listening while you're driving, running, doing whatever you're doing in your house, maybe cleaning your house if you want to get inspired, we have a podcast. It's the Juice Bar Experts podcast on iTunes, on Spotify. And as always, wishing you guys well. Hope you're happy, hope you're healthy. Want to see you guys thrive. So I'll see you guys at the next video. Take care. I hope you guys have been enjoying all of the content. If you're in a place where you are really inspired to start your juice business, but you're not exactly sure what the next steps are. For you, we've created a free ebook, The 15 Steps to Starting Your Juice Business from Scratch. This is going to give you an overview of everything that you need to do from just having a concept all the way to launching your business. Beyond that, if you're inspired to go even deeper, we've created an online course, the Juice Bar Master Blueprint, that is going to go into great detail into every single area of launching a successful juice business. There's links for both of these in the description below. I know you'll find a lot of value out of them. As always, wishing you guys a lot of success, and I'll see you at the next video.